Hi guys, my name is Sushant Alwar and today I have with me something that looks really special. Yes, I have in my hands Oppo's latest upper mid-range flagship for the country, the Reno 7 Pro. It looks fancy, feels fancy and also works like a charm. But is it worth your money? We'll try and answer this and more in our in-depth review of the Oppo Reno 7 Pro. But before we get to the review of the device, let me welcome you all to Digit.in, your one-stop shop for all the latest gadget reviews, tech news and more. So if you live and breathe tech, this is the place for you. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notified the moment we drop a new video. Now with all that out of the way, let's get to the review of the Oppo Reno 7 Pro. Let's get this review started by talking about the design of the device. As has been the case with previous generation Reno phones, the Oppo Reno 7 Pro is an extremely good looking phone. It looks really upmarket with its thin yet boxy design language. For me, this is possibly one of the most good looking phones in not just its segment, but also the market cutting across even the premium budget segment. From its near bezel-less display to its back panel, the phone looks and feels premium and impresses with its gorgeous, eye-catching design. And this is because Oppo's done a lot of good work with the device's design language. For example, the Reno 7 Pro features a really thin 1.5mm bezel, the thinnest on a Reno smartphone to date. Then there's also the fact that the Reno 7 Pro features what the company calls an aircraft-grade shooting star design with 1.2 million micro lines and 8 micrometer engraving depth. The smartphone also features the company's orbit breathing light around the rear camera module. Thanks to the unique etching technique used by the company, the shooting star design gives the phone a subtle sparkling finish. Overall, the phone follows a minimalistic approach with only the dual-step camera module, the only element crying out for attention. But how does this translate to use in the real world? Well, all these elements combine to give the phone a really premium look, which is not only great to look at, but also to hold in the hand. Moving on to the display, we have a 6.5-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED display with support for 90Hz refresh rate. This is a 20:9 aspect ratio display, which also offers support for HDR10+, and being an AMOLED panel, we also get support for always-on display. In terms of performance, the display is good, topping out at 800 nits. It is not the brightest panel we've seen on a phone in the recent past. However, it proved to be bright enough in most lighting conditions, including usage under direct sunlight. During our review, we tested the phone's display on both the vivid and gentle color profiles found within the display settings of the device. Of the two, the latter is calibrated for accuracy in the sRGB color space, while the vivid profile appears to be calibrated for covering a wider color range by attempting to hit the wider DCI P3 color space. In terms of performance, the display is quite good. It feels premium and works as well as any other panel fitted on an Oppo phone in the past. It definitely matched up to our expectations as it not only offered good brightness levels but also managed to reproduce vibrant and punchy colors. Apart from this, the display also offers good viewing angles and text legibility. While the phone gave us no reason to complain in the display and design department, it did leave us asking for a little more when it came to the hardware and performance section. But before we get to the test results and tell you about our experience with the device, let's quickly get the specifications out of the way. So the Reno 7 Pro brings with it a Dimensity 1200 Max chipset paired with 12GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. This is an upgrade on the Dimensity 1200 SoC found on the Reno 6 Pro from last year, but this upgrade is mostly in name. This Max variant of the Dimensity 1200 SoC is an exclusively customized chip that Oppo claims provides more enhanced performance in key areas compared to the original 1200 SoC from last year. Now, the claim is true. The chipset does offer better performance over the Oppo Reno 6 Pro, but if that's because of a more powerful chipset or simply because the Dimensity 1200 SoC is a more mature platform now is something we're not sure about. In benchmarks, the phone did okay by clocking better scores in CPU heavy tests such as Antutu, Geekbench and PCMark when compared to the Oppo Reno 6 Pro. However, its scores were nowhere close to those clocked by competing devices such as the OnePlus 9RT and Xiaomi 11T Pro, which are powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 SoC. The same was the case for GPU tests like 3D Mark Wildlife and also GFX Bench. Even though not as good as the results of the Snapdragon 888 SoC phones, the benchmark performance of the Reno 7 Pro did translate to good enough performances in gaming and day-to-day tasks. However, while gaming we did notice some level of instability in frame rates. The problem here could very well be the thermals, as we noticed the phone's chipset also being throttled to about 70% of its performance in the CPU throttling test. Moving on to the money makers of the phone, yes, we're talking about the cameras of the Reno 7 Pro. Oppo has put in a lot of effort into ensuring an above-par photography experience with its Reno 7 Pro. Being an area of focus for the phone, we see the company equip the device with impressive cameras supplemented by a host of features to elevate its performance. The phone comes with an interesting set of cameras. Of these, both the 50 megapixel primary camera with Sony IMX766 sensor and even the 8 megapixel ultra-wide angle lens proved themselves to be good additions during our tests. However, we found the 2 megapixel macro lens ending up being on the phone just to make up the numbers. Because of its design, the primary lens offers good results in darker environments as it captures plenty of data in low light scenarios. The phone's night mode is definitely a neat addition to the device and a quick way of filling up images with more light than actually exists in the frame. However, we found its results to not be the most accurate. But in well-lit situation, the phone performs pretty much as good as any high-end or even premium segment phone in the market. These images from the primary lens come out crisp and vibrant with good amount of natural light. The colors are also rich and accurate, with these shots also offering good dynamic range. The lens also captures a good amount of detail which helps you zoom and crop an image. The secondary lens also manages to capture decent pictures in well-lit conditions. However, low light performance does leave a little to be desired. As we mentioned before, the performance of the macro lens did not live up to our expectations in general, as the phone did not manage to click good macro shots regardless of the lighting conditions. We also have an interesting front camera on the Reno 7 Pro. This is an IMX709 sensor with an RGBW fusion unit. This lens again offers a design which helps it capture a lot of light regardless of the lighting condition. The post-processing of these selfies is also good, helping the phone capture accurate skin tones and skin details. Oppo Reno 7 Pro packs a big battery which is the same size as the one found on the Reno 6 Pro. It is a 4500 mAh pack that's enough to keep the phone running for at least a day without running for the charger. But that's if you're a moderate user. For heavy users, the phone will give you less than a day's use on a charge. And when the phone does run out of charge, it can be quickly topped up using the device's 65-watt SuperVOOC fast charger, which can fill up the battery completely in about 35 minutes. This is pretty much the same battery performance that we got from the Reno 6 Pro last year. So honestly, it would have been better if the company had made an upgrade in this department. So it's time to answer the all-important question. Is the Reno 7 Pro worth buying? Definitely yes, if you want a phone that looks and feels like $1 million and can also capture really good shots regardless of the lighting conditions from both its front and rear sensors. However, for pretty much everything else, including the performance of the core hardware, the Reno 7 Pro gets bested by competing phones which offer a lot more at similar price point. And that honestly could be the Reno 7 Pro's biggest problem going forward, as even more powerful devices like the iQOO 9 Pro are expected to launch in India in the coming days at around the same price point as the Reno 7 Pro. So that was a review of the Reno 7 Pro 5G. If you liked the video, share it with your friends and family. Also hit the bell icon and get notified of more such content. Thanks for watching.